Hey there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today we're going tier list. A tier list for which warframes are worth or not worth to build as a new player. And as a new player, we know that allocating our resources for multiple weapons, multiple warframes can be a little bit tough. I would like to do this tier list. It's because now we have Android now globally. And I can't wait to see more tennos playing the game. That's why I said maybe it's time for me to make a tier list with my own. Let's start. First of all, before I start, as you can see, all warframes are listed here until Uriel. Yeah, here. Uriel is here. If the warframe has prime, I'm mostly just gonna immediately gonna put the non-prime variant here. And we're gonna talk about mostly about prime. So for example, here, Ash. Let's start with Ash. I'll be putting Ash here because we have Ash Prime. Now, Ash Prime. Before I put him anywhere, Ash Prime is mainly an invisible warframe. I think as a new player, I'm mostly just gonna emphasize about his invisibility because in Warframe, as much as possible, you don't wanna get hit by the enemies unless your build is purposely for tanking enemies, but not every Warframe can do that. Also, I think if you are a new player, I personally think his fourth skill, it's cool as heck. That's why I'm putting Ash for pretty good. Pretty good. He can be yes. He can be yes also. I can put him in a pretty low tier of yes, but for now let me just put him in a pretty good because I believe there are much better option than Ash. Ash is cool, but it's just gonna be here only in the pretty good. He's cool and he's also pretty strong. Next warframe, Atlas and Atlas Prime. Of course, Atlas is gonna be here in Subshu because we already have the Prime. Let's talk about Atlas Prime. Oh, first of all, Atlas is available right now in Prime Resurgence. If you're a new player and you have an access to get Aya now, then I recommend you to get Atlas. If you wanted to play as Saitama, One Punch Man, literally. If you wanted to play a Warframe where you only have to press one skill, literally, you only have to press one skill to kill enemies, you can use Atlas. Of course, he's not the best for everything because there are enemies that you cannot target by the skill, but for the majority of the enemies, he's pretty fun. He's pretty fun and he can be very strong. So Atlas, I'm putting here too pretty good also because he's just like Ash, but I'm putting him next to Ash because I still believe that Ash invisibility has more value than Atlas. But when it comes to fashion, yeah, they both amazing. So it's up to you. But right now, I'm mainly talking about their usefulness. So Atlas is gonna be here. Oh, if we're talking about other Atlas's skills, we don't talk about his other skills. Maybe in the future, if you know what you're doing already. Next one, Banshee. Yeah, Banshee here also is gonna be instantly Subshu. Banshee Prime. Oh, Banshee Prime. Wait, before I put Banshee here, wait, can I? Yeah, I can. Can I put her back here? Banshee is one of the warframes where you could easily access when you, if you have, or if you're joined to a clan. I just wanted to add it. Banshee. If you really wanted to play Banshee, if you feel like that, you really like her, you enjoy her kit, you like using her, I will say that you can build her. But as a sane person, I will say no. Yeah, just go subsume her. But most likely if you play here, you might not gonna like her, but if ever you're gonna like her, she's gonna be here. But I'll try to make this as general as possible, so she's gonna be subsume. Yeah, Banshee in the current meta, she's in a pretty rough spot right now, especially her fourth skill. Her fourth skill might be good for low level missions, but eventually you're not gonna stay in a low level mission. And to make her fourth skill work in a low level mission, you need to invest a lot. Investing endgame stuffs just to do low level missions, that's just silly. So Banshee, I will say, if you really wanted to build her, I'll just put her in a neutral. First of all, I'm not gonna put any prime here in the no subsume. Most likely their lowest spot will be in neutral because they're prime. Yeah, they're prime. Well, it doesn't mean that Banshee is weak. She can be very strong. But the thing is, if you are working 9 to 5 with Banshee to do big damage, the other Warframes, they have to work for 3 to 4 hours. That's basically it. I love Banshee, but she's in a rough spot right now. So she's gonna be here. Next one, Baruuk. Baruuk is what you to get his normal variant. You need to grind a bit more, and then when you get it, that's gonna be instant subsume. Now Baruuk Prime. Baruuk Prime, definitely one of the toughest and one of the strongest Warframe, especially for solo. That's where you could feel his power in solo. His survivability is also pretty amazing. But let's go back to his offensive. His offensive, if you wanted to play with his exalted weapon, his fourth skill, it can be a little bit tough to use in co-op. It's because of his passive, the way his passive works. That's why I'm putting Baruuk. He's almost Banshee. Yeah, just neutral, because most likely if you're a new player, you're always gonna play with others. That's high chance. But if not, if you're not going to play with others, then he can be here. So it depends on you. But to make this general, I'll just put him in a neutral. Next one, let's go to Caliban. Caliban, since we already have Prime, also Caliban's Prime is unvaulted. He's just one of the newest Prime, so his normal Prime should be here. And let's talk about Caliban. Oh, Caliban. Caliban is one of the best Warframes right now, especially with his skill augment for his third skill. He's just insane. He is very strong. He's very good at many types of missions. It can be defense, can be capture, can be interception. Just basically almost everything, of course, except spy mission, I think. But most of the missions, he can do it very well. He is strong. He is strong. Has CC, has minions, has armor strip, has shield gating, has healing. Yeah, this guy is crazy. So I will put him in yes. That's just how very good he is. He's easy to use. He's easy to use and strong. Very versatile. Alright, now let's go to Chroma. Well, Chroma has Prime and just normal, so I'll be putting the normal here. Now, Chroma Prime. Chroma Prime, he can be very strong. But he can be also boring to play with. I'll be honest with you. Because he's just use his second skill and use his third skill, and then that's it. Just point and click. He's cool. Fashion, he looks sick. He's looking amazing. But if you're a new player, you might find him a little bit boring. Also, you needed to put more, or if you're going to enjoy him even more, you're gonna have to put more investment to him. But even with the low investment, he can still work. But to make him much easier, much better to use, you gotta put more investment to him. So I will put him here in a neutral. Maybe here. Yep. I believe he has better spot than Banshee and Baruuk. That's why I'm putting him here. He's a strong one, but I'm just gonna put him in the neutral. Next one, Citrine. Oh, Citrine. Citrine, most likely this year she's gonna have a Prime. We still don't know when, because we still don't even know who's prime is gonna be. Most likely it's gonna be Stynox, but let's talk about him later. But I will say she can be in a neutral, or no, just wait for her prime, because most likely her prime is gonna come this year. If you don't want to spend your resources, if you really don't want to spend, then yep, just put her here, because we have other Warframes that we can put our resources, and you might find other Warframes much better to play with, or maybe you might like other Warframes. That's why I'll just say just put her here, just subsume here. But it can be also here in this special category. I'm not gonna elaborate more, just check how does she look like in game, you will understand. But I'm not gonna put her here, so I'm just mostly gonna put her in this category. Just subsume her. Next one, Site 09. Oh, Site 09. I wanted to be more general as possible with this tier list, but I have a pretty huge bias with this Warframe. I was new when this Warframe was released back in 2024 December, so I have a bias with this guy. This Warframe forced me to enjoy playing precision playstyle using sniper. His sniper is very amazing. Also, he's an invisible Warframe, plus his invisibility is a helmet subsumable skill, so highly recommended to get this guy. But if you're going to build him, I can put him here, really. Other than he has invisibility and his cool sniper, his second skill, if you're using a non-incarnon gun where you are reloading, you can just use his second skill and it will automatically reload your gun. That's just how high his value is as a non-prime right now. I can put him here. This is my bias. But like I said, there are other Warframes. We have more primes, because eventually we're just gonna subsume this, or we're just gonna have Site 09 Prime. So I'm just gonna put him here in pretty good. He's below these two, because these two, they are primes. That's why I'm putting him here. But if I'll be honest with you, I'm just putting him here. Yeah. But just to make this tier list as general as possible, I'll just put him here. Site 09. Really, highly recommend you to have him. He's a very cool, very good Warframe. His sniper is amazing. His sniper is fantastic. It's easy to use and it's very strong. Next one, Dagath. Dagath. Dagath, she can be very strong, but at the same time can be quite confusing to use at first. It's not as straightforward as people might think, especially for the older players. She's not that straightforward to use. Also, her prime is not coming yet, most likely gonna be next year, so I'll be putting here around just neutral. Dagath, she's pretty fun, but she has a new deluxe skin. If you like her deluxe skin, then she can be here, or maybe even here if you like her skin. But I'll just put her here. If you just really like her playstyle, then yeah, that's just neutral, or it can be here. It's up to you. Generally, I'll just put her here. I love Dagath. I love her. She's fantastic. But of course, she's not the best pick from these Warframes. Now Dante, oh boy, Dante. I'm sorry, other Overguard Warframes, but Dante is still the king of Overguard. Yeah, Dante he's pretty easy to use, but you might needed some higher investment for his energy economy. That's just most likely he's gonna be a problem if you're a new player. But I will say he is worth building, even though he's not prime yet. Next year, I will say he's just gonna be here, because each year past, these non-primes Warframes value is slowly declining, because their primes are slowly coming up. Just like, for example, Citrine, like I said, and then the other ones that is that I'm going to talk about later. So I will say, yeah, Dante. He can protect, he can attack. Most likely, he can overguard. So Dante. Here. Next, Ember. Yeah, Ember. I'll just put her here. Just subsume her. Ember. Oh. Of all the heat warframes that we have, or fire-based warframes that we have, also she's one of the oldest warframes here. She's in a rough spot right now in the current meta of the game. If you wanted heat-based warframe, there are much stronger heat-based warframes right now. Also, they can do much better job. But I think if you really like to play her, especially if you like her Ember heirloom skin, then she can be here. I will say here, yeah. She can be here in a neutral. Pretty good. I won't say she's pretty good to build with as a new player, because you might find her power is slowly declining the higher you go with the with your progression. So I'll just put her here. Ember, yep. Hopefully we're gonna get some Ember buff in the future. Though she has an augment where you can gain overguard, so I guess that's also a good thing about her. But other than that, I'll just put her here in a neutral. Unfortunately, that's just how Ember is right now. I'll just put her here in the lowest in the neutral right now. Next one, Equinox. Yeah, Equinox. Yeah, the farming for normal Equinox can be rough at first. I'm very excited now. Let's talk about the Prime. I'll be honest to you, building Equinox right now, I'll put her in this category. It's not even neutral. Maybe it's because the way her kits work. You're like playing two warframes in one, but the thing is they are disjointed to each other, and you're mostly only gonna play one mode. And the augments, the augment where you're gonna summon your other half, that suck. If only that augment is a little bit better, maybe I might consider her to be here. But that's just because of that. It's also her other augments, her other band-aid augments. They should have been part of her kits. But the problem, it's not. That's just how rough this warframe is. I love Equinox. I have a bias with Equinox. But I just wanted to be honest with her current state. If you just really love her as she is, you're just mostly gonna build her because your PP said so. So she's gonna be here. Equinox. Next, Excalibur. Oh, Excalibur. Excalibur has a unique situation. He's one of the starting warframe that you could use, or you could pick when you start the game. I will say, since you'll never ever gonna have Excalibur Prime, just like me here, just like me, just like you, just like many players will never gonna have Excalibur Prime. I'll say Excalibur is worth building. He's worth building. Oh wait. I know the older players are saying no. There's gonna be Excalibur Umbra. Excalibur Umbra is different. Wait, let me just put Excalibur Prime here because we're never gonna have him. So let's just put him here in a special category. Let's talk a little bit with Umbra. Umbra is a spoiler. I'm not gonna talk much about him. But let's just say his polarity is unique. That's the only reason why you might wanted to have regular Excalibur on your arsenal. It's just because of Excalibur Umbra's polarity. Excalibur Umbra, I'm not gonna talk much about this warframe because it's part of the spoiler. Then I will say yes. It's still yes. It's still yes. They're both here. Excalibur and Umbra. I'm not gonna talk much about him because he's part of a spoiler. Also, one more thing, Excalibur can be very strong when you actually put effort, put investment on him. That's why he's here. Very strong melee Warframe. Let's go to the next one. Frost. Yep, Frost. Since we have Frost Prime, I'm just gonna put Frost here. Frost Prime. Oh god. Frost, he can protect and he can attack also. But you might needed some more investment to him to be like that. But is it worth it? I'll say yeah. He's one of the strongest gun frame that many people are not using. He's insane critical monster for the weapon. So I will say he is. Yes, it's worth building Frost. If you can have Frost, or if someone give you Frost and you love playing with your guns, weapons, this Warframe can be very nice. The more you progress, the more that you can build him. Frost, he can protect and he can attack. That's just how strong Frost. I just got him recently. Before end of the year, I got him, and then that's where I realized how strong he can be. The first, I will say yes, he's worth building. Next one, Gara. Gara, he's gonna be here. Gara Prime. Let's talk about Gara Prime. Gara Prime. If you love Gara, if you're an old player and you love Gara, I'm sorry to what I'm about to say, but Gara is like Atlas. She's just one skill wonder. Just like Atlas, you're mostly just gonna use her with her first skill. Maybe occasionally with her second skill if you remember to cast it. She is strong, alright? Don't get me wrong, she's strong, but she needed more investment. She need pretty high investment to make her like a monster. So I will say she's gonna be here. She's a little bit above than Atlas. I will say it's because she's much easier to use than Atlas. Because she doesn't need it to aim to the enemy. For Atlas, you needed to aim. So I will say she's here. She's second to Ashe. Well, she's just second to Ashe because you might find her boring to play eventually because you're just pressing literally just one skill. Now, let's talk about Garuda. Garuda. Oh boy, Garuda. Garuda Prime. Garuda Prime. Garuda Prime. She can be very strong. But she can also feel underwhelming if you don't know what you're doing. This is mostly about your knowledge with the game and with the Warframe. It's gonna be the problem. Of course, you're a new player. You still don't know a lot of things. Her fashion alone is worth considering in a pretty good state. She can be very strong. She can be pretty good. Yeah. Fashions. I will say I'm putting her. Could be here. Yeah, pretty good. I will say. She has a nuke. But if you're in a lower level, you can't feel it. But if you're reaching, let's just say, the level cap. If you don't know level cap, just basically just fighting 4 digits of 9 level enemy, which is, I'm not gonna talk about that. That's in a different whole topic. She's a freaking nuclear there. I will say she's gonna be here. At least she's pretty fun than Gara, I will say, because you're pressing more skills than her. Or also her fashion is fantastic. She's one of the best looking female Warframes here in general. Also, one more thing, you don't need to put any melee on her, but that's also her one side. If you put any melee on her, she can use her talons. Yeah, pretty good. Garuda, pretty good, I will say. Well, I'm a little biased there, so let's continue. Gauss. Oh boy, Gauss. There's no question about here. Gauss. Gauss. What is the reason, Gauss? If you think Warframe's movement is already peak, wait till you could play Gauss. Make it double, triple, or maybe more. That's just how peak he is. Fire rate, check. Reload speed, check. Survivability, toughness, check. Energy economy, check. Armor strip, check. Crowd control, check. Holy shit, this Warframe is crazy. That's just how good this Warframe is. And also there are different variety or variant of builds that you can use with him. That's just how good this Warframe is. So for new player, highly recommend you to have Gauss. But there's a but. He's super addicted. You shouldn't just use him. You needed to have other Warframes to play with, because other Warframes might feel slow, might feel clunky if you got addicted playing Gauss. That's the reason why I don't always use him, because I'm trying to avoid to spoil other Warframes because of him. That's just how good he is. So I'm putting him here. I'm putting him here second to Caliban, because I believe Caliban right now for other mission types, he has more value than Gauss, but it doesn't mean he's less than Caliban. It's just Caliban can do much more. They're both fantastic. So Gauss, highly recommended for new players. He's really fun as heck. Amazing Warframe. Next one, Grendel. Oh, of course. Of course, I hate to put Grendel here as much as possible, but majority of community is gonna tell you to have Grendel and subsume him for his skill Nourish. I'm not gonna talk about that much, but yeah, I'll be putting him here. He is here, it's mainly because of his subsumable skill, his Nourish. Yep, you will hear a lot about Nourish from other people, not just me. Even with other players, you will hear more about that. It's meta as heck. It's overused as heck. That's it. Grendel. Oh, Grendel, he's pretty weird. But he is strong, alright. He is strong. He can be tough also. But it's just pretty weird to play with as a new player. He can be fun. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I'll put him here. Yep. Though I do have a little bit of bias here, that's why I put him here. But I'm putting him here. Yeah. Why? Why am I putting him here? He has the peak male physique. The one type of physique that I'm so jealous with. That's why I'm putting him here. Nah, kidding aside, if I'm gonna be honest, I'll just say neutral. Maybe around here. Yeah, just neutral. Neutral to can be pretty good also. But I would say just neutral, Grendel. But I'll just put him here because this is my tier list anyway. Next one, Gyre. Gyre. We have Gyre Prime now, the newest Prime. Now let's talk about Gyre. Gyre Prime. Gyre Prime. If you're a new player, most likely your problem is gonna be activating her skills at first, because you don't know how to have energy at first, and then your energy economy is still bad. So I'm putting her in neutral. Wait, it should be saying, yeah, neutral. I'm putting her in a neutral spot. It's because eventually if you got more mods about her, better weapons, then that's where you will see how freaking strong she is. She can be very strong. But at first, you needed to invest more to her to see her like that, to see her power, her true potential. So I will say she's just in a neutral. I find Gyre Prime to be more fun to play with, but if I'm gonna be honest to you, I'll just put Banshee here because of my bias here. But yeah, I just wanted to make this as general as possible. So Gyre is gonna be here. Next one, Harrow. Oh boy, Harrow. My bias might affect this tier list about Harrow. Harrow, he can support, he can also attack, but most importantly, he wants all the headshots. Literally. That's just how he is. He wanted to support, but he wanted all the headshots. Headshot kills, to be precise. And as a new player, I will say, if you wanted to get good, if you wanted to force yourself to learn how to headshot, how to be better at aiming, I'm putting him here. Maybe here. Yeah, I'm putting him here. He also has shield gating through his first skill. He has a tool to bully acolytes with his first skill also. With his second skill, you have fire rate and reload speed buff. With his third skill, you have headshot multiplier. And you have his fourth skill. You have headshot multiplier from his third. Oh, I'll give you more. From his fourth skill. Also, his fourth skill has affinity range invincibility. That's just how good Harrow is. And unfortunately, I'm seeing less people playing him because it is understandable because of how his fourth skill works. He's much more satisfying to play with as a solo player, I will say. But he can still function. He can still function in co-op. Just gonna be a little bit less than when you're playing solo because of his fourth skill, like I said. But despite that, I will say yes, he's worth building. He's worth investing. That's just how good Harrow is. Amazing Warframe. Next one, Hildryn. Hildryn also is gonna be one of the Warframes that has one of the most subsumed skills. So I'm putting her here. Yeah, mainly because of her subsume skill. That's why she's gonna be here. Her pillage, her armor strip, and shield gating skill. Many people is gonna tell you to use that. Personally, I would say no, don't just heavily rely on that. There are other ways to shield gate. But for the sake of this video being a generalist video, then I'll just put her here. Hildryn. Oh god, Hildryn. If you know what is EDA, ETA, or if you don't know about that, that's basically an end game weekly challenge where you have handicaps and limitations what you use with your loadouts. It can be annoying. Many people dislike it, but the rewards there are pretty good. It's because of the existence of Archon shards. Well, if you are new, if you don't know Archon shards, that's just fine. Eventually, you're just gonna learn more about them. Basically, those are just shards to min-max your Warframe. They are not necessary, but they are very good min-max tool to build your Warframe. Hildryn, when it comes to EDA, ETA, she's just dominating it. Yeah. If you're a new player and you reach EDA, ETA, she's one of the best Warframes to invest right now. That's just how strong she is. Her first skill, we don't talk about her first skill. Second skill, like I said, her most subsumed skill, the pillage, it can armor strip, it can regen your shield. Also, Hildryn has one of the highest shield in the entire game, in the entire roster. That's also one reason she's super tanky. Her fourth skill right now, using her augment Aegis Gale, making it very strong exalted weapon. Yeah, her first skill is an exalted weapon. Like I said, we don't talk about her first skill, but you're only gonna use it when you use her fourth skill with an augment, and then you can mod her exalted weapon. That's just how very strong this Warframe right now. I'm seeing her a lot in ETA, EDA each week. It's crazy, especially in Asian server. I always see her. She's strong. She's carrying in pubs in ETA, EDA. And she's tanky. She's pretty easy to use. She's pretty straightforward. Hildryn here. Very nice. I still like her. I liked her already when I was new, and I still like her. And of course, she's really worth building, not just because I like her. Because of those reasons, she's fantastic right now. She's a very good spot in the current meta of the game. Next one, Hydroid. Hydroid. Oh, Hydroid. Hydroid is one of the main crowd control Warframe in the game. Oh, not just that, he's a pretty good gun frame also because of his third skill. He can apply corrosive to your weapons, and not just to your primary, secondary, or melee, also with your arc gun. Wait, can he also apply corrosive to his melee? I don't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. And also with an arc gun. That's the difference between Hydroid and Citrine. But I will talk about Citrine later. He can apply corrosive to arc gun. Citrine, nope. So maybe because of that, you might considering building him as a gun buffer Warframe, which is, yeah, it is. I'll say Hydroid, yes. Pretty okay CC, I will say pretty okay. I just got interrupted. Let's go back again to Hydroid. Again, just to make it short, Hydroid first skill is just amazing. If you have the augment, you can apply both corrosive and viral to the enemy. Very strong. Oh, also he can fully armor strip enemies with just 10 stacks of corrosive. That's what makes him very special. His second skill can be nice. It can be a pretty good movement skill. Third skill can apply corrosive to your weapon, and then fourth skill is his tentacles. Basically, that's just gonna make him the tentacle prime. Yeah, Hydroid. I'll be putting him here in pretty good. There are much better Warframes, but I'll just put him here. Next one, Inaros. Oh, Inaros. Inaros Prime. One of the purely health tanking Warframe in the game. He doesn't have any shield. His skills though, are like the worst version of other skills from other Warframes. That's just how it is. His fourth skill is like the worst version of Hydroid's first skill. His third skill is like the worst version of other Warframes armor buffing skill. But the good thing about his third skill, it has status immunity, has a built-in PSF, so it's not really that bad. But when it comes to armor, it's bad because it is depleting. His second skill is like the worst version of Caliban's first skill, especially with an augment. First skill, Sand Pocket or Pocket Sand. Yeah, I think the only reason we're going to play Inaros is it's just because he is fashion, and because of that, I would like to put Inaros here. I'm really biased to Inaros. I genuinely like him. I find him enjoyable. Yeah, I might be downplaying Inaros too much. There might be some people who's gonna explain how freaking cool Inaros, but I'll be honest with you, he's just gonna be here. I'm putting him here. Actually, Grendel right here is just a joke in my part. Alright, like I said again, if I'm being honest, he's gonna be here. Here. But Inaros, this isn't even a joke. This isn't even a joke. I'm really putting him here. Yeah, Inaros, I love you, but yeah, you're like the worst version of different Warframes. Next one, Ivara. Ivara is just okay. I think the only problem with Ivara is her invisibility. Her invisibility is very conditional. What is the condition? Don't slide, don't bullet jump. Basically, just be slow as you are. Just keep walking. But it can be very good for spy mission. But the thing is, Wukong exists, and I will talk about Wukong later. I know you might hate Wukong, but Wukong is literally one of the best Warframes right now, and I'm gonna talk about it later. Ivara, her exalted bow, they made some adjustment to her augments to make it strong kinda. But Ivara right now, for newer players, I'm just going to talk about in newer players perspective. I'll say to usability, Ashe is still way better than her. I'm just gonna put her in a neutral spot here. Like I said, she can be a very good spy Warframe, but then you will remember Wukong exists, and I will tell you why. But for now, let's move on to Jade. Oh, Jade is one of the Warframes that still don't have any primes. Just like Dagath, she doesn't have prime, which is Dagath is here. But Jade, she can support. She can attack also. She can be very good. So I will say she can be a very strong. She has armor slip. She has slow. She has buff. She has heal. Yeah, even though she can support, she's not just a support. She can even nuke. Yeah, so I will say here she's pretty good. She's pretty good. Jade. And aesthetically wise, she is the angel, mother angel in the game. I don't want to talk more about because I might spoil something about her, because she literally is in a one of the story missions. So I'll just say that she's a good Warframe. I will say pretty good. Yeah, pretty good Warframe to invest with. Let's move on. Khora. Now we have Khora Prime. Khora Prime. She's like Atlas and Gara, like I said, remember? You're mostly gonna use her for her first skill also. Her whip. BDSM Prime. Khora. But the thing with her, she has much more use than just using her first skill. Her second skill, at least she has a skill to... Also a skill that you can use to bully Acolyte. You can just immobilize Acolyte. It's almost similar as Harrow's first skill. It can be also a good grouping skill. Kinda can be. But personally, I don't use this as a grouping skill. Her third skill is her Big Cat. Literally Big Cat. Can be strong. Big Cat. Pretty fun to have. Yeah, also. And her fourth skill, like I said, it can be useful for farming stuffs, because it has an augment where if the enemy got caught by her fourth skill, and then the enemies, if you kill them, they have a chance to drop more items. So she's one of the loot frame that people call. It means a Warframe that you use for farming. But generally, I don't use her like that. I just use her because of her whip. I'm whipping enemy to death. I will say just loot. Oh, no. She's pretty good also. I'll say she's above with this too. Well, yeah, she's above with Gara. The thing is, you can literally aim with her first skill. Gara, on the other hand, is just a fixed horizontal angle. You just can't aim it low or higher. That's the problem with her arc attack. Well, if you're gonna tell me you can use her puncture one, no, nobody's using that. I mean, yeah, it can be useful, but of course we're just mostly gonna use the arc to Gara. Koumei. Oh, Koumei. Right now, I think the problem with Koumei, it's because of the existence of Overguard. She's one of the newest Warframe, and she is a crowd control focused Warframe. But then the existence of Overguard is kind of holding back what she can. Also, I wish her fourth skill has damage vulnerability, or maybe her first skill. Yeah, that's probably what's missing on her kits. But yeah, Overguard is just making her feel weak. Koumei is not a straightforward Warframe. So I will say for a new player, she can be just neutral or can be here. She can be here or here. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I'll be putting her here. I like Koumei, I like her, but the way she works for newer players, I'm putting her here in this special category. Next one, Kullervo. Oh boy, if we are in 2024 and 2025, I'll be putting him here. He's literally gonna be here. I'm putting him here above Dante, mainly because it's just really satisfying to use. He's just very strong. He's one of the best, if not the best, melee Warframe right now. Since his prime is most likely this year, most likely end of the year, depends. But in my speculation, he's gonna be the last prime for this year. So if you don't want to spend more resources on him, since you know that his prime is coming, you can just subsume him. Yeah, you can just subsume him. Or if you really can't wait for the prime and you really wanted to enjoy him, I will say just here, neutral. He's above Dagath. Neutral. It can be also the lowest in a pretty good. He's only here, it's because of this year. We're already in 2026 and his prime is almost close. That's only the reason. But like I said, if we are in 2025 or 2024, I'm literally gonna be putting him here. That's just how good Kullervo is for a newer player. He's just insane. Also, he has overguard. And then if you got the augment, it will be easier to play him even more for survivability. But yeah, right now I'm just gonna put him here in the neutral. I'm still putting him above Dagath because that's just how high this Warframe's value is. Also, that's just how fun he is and how cool he is. That's why I'm putting him here above Dagath. But I love them both, okay? Don't get me wrong. Next one, let's move on to Lavos. Yeah, Lavos gonna be subshow. Lavos Prime. Oh boy, Lavos Prime. Where am I gonna put him? But let me talk about a little bit about Lavos. You wanted to put any statuses in the game to your weapon? Yes. Oh, do you have a weapon? Is there a weapon that you like? High crit, high damage, but it has low status? Lavos gonna fix that for you because of his augment. He can imbue any elements. It could be just a single element or combined elements to your weapon, and it will forcefully proc that. That's just how strong he is. That's just how amazing he is. Only with that reason, there's a lot of reason what makes him cool other than his fashion. His fashion is fantastic. But the thing is, Lavos, if I'm going to compare Lavos to other Warframes, let's just say other Warframes, they work like automatic cars, and Lavos is a manual car. That's just how he is. He's not a straightforward Warframe. There might be learning curve to fully grasp him, but I think that's what also makes him a good Warframe to build. Mixing elements when you're using this Warframe. This Warframe, even though he's not straightforward, he can teach you some more stuff in the game on how the statuses works, I will say. Not straightforward, but eventually you will learn more about it. I will say he's worth building. It's worth building. I'll say just this one, below Frost. Next one, Limbo. Oh. Limbo. Wait, Limbo should be here. Yeah. Limbo Prime. The Warframe that is one of the weirdest Warframe that we have. One of the most unique Warframe concept-wise. He's really one of the most unique. Also one of the coolest Prime fashion. It's not too much. It's just his design philosophy is just the less is more, and that's what makes him cool. He can be very strong in solo. I'm not gonna try to explain more about his skills because his skills can be a little bit complicated to understand, to explain. But to make it short, his rift, just treat it like a status effect to make it more sense. His rift. Limbo, at his current state, he is strong. He can be strong as a solo Warframe. If you're playing him solo, he can be very strong, especially when you're using the augment for his third skill. He can be strong. He can even outclass Chroma's Vex armor in a way, especially if you're playing solo in a very high density enemy mission type. But Limbo, in his current state, when you're playing him with others, because most likely if you're a new player, you're gonna play with other players, he can be rough to play with. If you don't know what you're doing, you can be very disruptive. And many people doesn't know how to play Limbo and doesn't want to play with Limbo. I'll say Limbo is in this tier. I'm putting him in the special tier list. Yeah, this one is not even a meme. This one's not even a meme, unlike Grendel. I just put Grendel here for the meme, because why not? This is not even a meme. It is in fact true. I'm putting him here in this special category. Hopefully we do get Limbo rework in the future, more co-op friendly, because that's mostly the problem about Limbo. His skill can be disruptive in co-op. That's the reason why. But like I said, he can be very strong, and he has a strong fashion game. Let's move on. Loki. Oh, Loki though, there are builds where you can make him very strong. For example, the mind control and his decoy with an augment. Though mostly you could only feel it in level cap, but we're not gonna talk about level cap here because you're a new player. You're just most likely looking for a guide which warframes are worth building. But yeah, Loki, he's pretty similar with Ash in a way. He has invisibility, he has teleportation, just like Ash, he has it. First skill, decoy. Right now, I'll be honest with you, the saving grace for Loki right now, it's mostly because of his invisibility. His other skills in the current meta, they feel like they're freaking strong in 10 years ago. But right now, nope, the game has drastically changed. The game is different now from what I've seen from the older gameplay. The game is just really different now, and Loki, he is falling behind. So Loki, he's still here. I'm still putting him maybe here. I'm still putting him here. Yeah, I'm still putting him here in neutral right now. His fashion though, what I like to look is just his helmet. His helmet is looking sick. One of the best helmet in the game, I will say. It's one of the best. So fashion, fantastic. It's just how to play him, his playstyle, his gameplay. Yeah, there are other invisibility frame that is much better to use. Next one, Mag. Okay, Mag, you can get her. She's one of the starting Warframe. If I'm gonna be honest with you, if you're starting in a game and then you just wanted to play with your own, you're not streaming, you have no friend, just you, we'll say no one, or you're not accepting any gift, you just wanted to grind everything, she's one of the starting Warframe, and you have free 50 platinum. I will say to those 3 free Warframes, you can just spend 1 potato, at least just 1 potato. That's it. You don't need to forma, but at least put 1 potato. So I'll consider it putting resources. So yeah, if you're still starting, it is worth. It is worth. But if you're, for example, streaming, you have friends, there are people gonna give you slots or potatoes in the future, so you're not gonna have to worry about it. I'm really surprised when I was new, people started gifting me slots when I was starting, and I'm really thankful for the community. Yeah, again, thank you for the Warframe community. If it's not because of you, then I might not be playing Warframe until now. So yeah, Mag, I will say, yeah, Mag, you can. And Mag Prime, she can crowd control, she can support the squad, she can armor strip. Yeah, basically one of the best Warframes, I will say, but it's not one of the most broken, just one of the best when it comes to crowd control until overguard enemies exist. But yeah, at least her armor strip can be pretty nice, though you needed augment for that for her 4th skill. But yeah, Mag, I will say, yeah, she's pretty good. She can be here, yeah, pretty good, I will say. It's funny, her normal one is much higher than her Prime one. It's mainly because for the newer players, all right. Like I said, you can just put potato with a regular one, and then so that you can put more augments, and then you can just go proceed until you get maybe newer Warframe. Maybe I will say this one. She's gonna be low, yeah. Yeah, I will say this one, yeah. I'll be putting the regular one here. And then the Prime is much higher, of course. Yeah, let's move on. Mesa. Oh boy, Mesa. Mesa is definitely one of the best Warframe for newer players to get addicted in the game. Yeah, with just that reason alone. Because she is freaking cool. She's freaking cool. I will say she's gonna be here. Yeah, yes, because she's really fun to use. She's amazing. She's just cool. I have nothing much to say. Just go get Mesa. So I will say yes. Though you needed to put more investment on her, but I think even with a low investment, she can be very strong because of how her 4th skill works, her exalted weapon. That's why I'm putting her here, much higher than Frost. Next one, Mirage. Oh boy, I remember getting the regular one. You need to finish this, what is it again, this puzzle, and I wasn't able to do that. I had to wiki it. Yeah, I'll be honest to you, that's one of the things that I had to wiki, because one thing I forgot, or I accidentally deleted or this email about it. Second, I just wanted to get her, and then I will subsume her because Prime exists. Yeah, at that point of the game, I just got lazy to figure out how to get the standard one. But yeah, anyway, this is getting longer. Let's go to the Mirage Prime. Mirage Prime, definitely one of the strongest Warframe in terms of buffing your weapon. She can be broken as heck. She's very strong. Mirage, her Eclipse is crazy. Oh, if you don't want to be strong, she can also a little bit tankier because of her Eclipse also. So Eclipse, she can buff your weapon, very strong, but she can also make you a little bit tougher because it has fixed 75% damage reduction. But yeah, who needs survivability? Just kill enemies as fast as you can, and then no enemies in your sight means you're safer, right? All right, so Mirage, I will say she's a very strong one. Also, another reason is because of ESO, Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, or Sanctuary Onslaught. She can nuke that. If you see Mirage in Sanctuary Onslaught and you see enemy exploding or dying really quick, it's because of her. And second skill with an augment. So yeah, I'm putting here, it could be here actually, it could be here, but not much higher than Gauss. I will say here. She can be here mainly because of you're gonna grind a lot, you're gonna level up your stuffs a lot, your weapons, weapons, and she can be very useful there. She can be here, yeah, or maybe here. I'll say here, yeah, here. I'm putting her here. Mirage. As a Warframe alone, DPS is just crazy. No joke. I was surprised how strong she is. So I'm putting her here. Next one, Necros. Oh, Necros. Yeah. For me, amongst all or Warframes that are being used as a farming Warframe, I personally like using Necros a lot because he's much easier to use, much more consistent when it comes to his farming game. And that's the reason why I'm gonna put him here in yes. That's mainly because of that. For his farming game, I find him easier to use than Khora. That's why I'm using him here. Or I'm putting him here in the yes spot. Yeah, he has minions, he has armor strip, he's a loot frame, and yeah, basically that's just it. Nothing much to say about Warframe's power. Well, he can be strong in level cap, but you're not a level cap player yet. You're still a new player. So I'll be putting him here. Let's move on. Oh, Nezha. Yeah, Nezha. If ever you're gonna like his playstyle, then you might just build him. I'm probably gonna put him here. Yeah, if you like him, because he's one of the Warframes that you could easily get in dojo if you have a clan. But Nezha, he isn't straightforward Warframe, so you might not gonna understand how to play him. You might gonna feel like he is in a weird or weak Warframe, so most likely you're just gonna throw him here. But if ever you're gonna like him, then maybe you can put him here. But I will say just go subsume this one and find a way to get the prime version of Nezha. So prime version of Nezha. Like I said, Nezha is not a straightforward Warframe, but he can be a good all-around Warframe. Speed, AoE, CC, can be a gun frame a bit because he is a hit-based Warframe, and you could easily use the arcane hotshot, but that's a little bit more complicated topic to talk with. Yeah, like I said, he's not a straightforward Warframe. He can be fun, but he's not a straightforward Warframe. But I will say he is here in a neutral. I'll be putting him in a neutral. Nezha is cool. One of the coolest Warframe. Ask Rhino, or maybe ask Warframe subreddit why. Next one, let's move to Nidus. Oh, Nidus. Yeah, Nidus, just go subsume. Yes, I remember farming for regular Nidus in a normal way. It's not gonna make you a normal person. It's gonna turn you into an insane person. And I did that myself. I didn't took him from the circuit because I said, why not? I wanted to farm my Warframes in a normal way. And I lost a little bit of my sanity. It's not recommended. Just go get him in circuit whenever he's in the rotation. Alright? Save your sanity. Nyx Prime. Oh, Nyx. He's like Harrow. He wanted to support, but he wanted all the kills. He wanted all the targets. He wanted support, but his gameplay loop is selfish. Yeah, with the current state of the game, the current meta of the game, you can most likely gonna enjoy him in a high density mission plus in solo. In party, it can be a little bit tough. He's not ideal to use in co-op right now unless you are actually playing with other players in a coordinated way. Yeah, if you're playing in a coordinated way, then yes, he can be very good, very strong. But if you're just playing with the randoms, then Nidus is not a very straightforward Warframe, I will say. But he can be a fun Warframe. I'll say he is here in a neutral, just neutral. All right, let's move on. Noko. Oh, Noko is one of the newest Warframes. One of the newest Warframes and one of the strongest Warframes. No joke. Probably one of the best, if not the best Warframe skill casting frame right now. Yep, that's arguably one of the best. So I will say yes, I'll be putting him. It should be here, maybe here. Yeah, I know there are people who hates this Warframe because of how easy to play this Warframe, and that's also the reason why I'm putting him here, because he's easy to use. He's strong and he's easy to use. That's why I'm putting him here. Yeah, Noko here. He can regenerate energy. He can apply viral. He can apply toxic, and then if you have Archon continuity, it's a mod. Then if you apply toxic, you can also you will also apply corrosive. That's just how freaking strong this Warframe is. He's simple. He's a fun guy, yet he's strong. Also, he's cute when he turned into Sprawling. His third skill. Do not subsume it. I'll get mad. Nova. Oh, Nova. You know what? If you're a stubborn guy like me and you're gonna wait for Nova Resurgence, I'll say it's pretty good to invest with Nova. Yeah, it's pretty good with just the regular Nova. And yeah, other people are gonna say, well, just go get the Prime, blah blah blah. Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that if you're a type of person who just don't wanted to spend platinum to get Warframe and you wanted to farm Warframe just in game with your own, then you gotta have to wait for the Nova Prime Resurgence. Right now she's not available, and Nova, she can be very good, and you can also just play her without even putting Forma. Yeah, you can enjoy her without putting Forma. That's just how good this Warframe is. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. It's just one potato. That's all you needed to put on her regular one. Just a potato. But if you're going to spend platinum to buy her, then of course this one is gonna be here, and this one is gonna be, let's just say, I would say she's gonna be above Frost, because she can do much way better than Frost. For example, when it comes to defense, yeah, she's gonna be a very good defense Warframe, interception Warframe, those type of missions where you need to protect, you needed to defend the objective, and then for the rest, yeah, you can just go point and click, just go point and aim and destroy enemies. And she also has pretty good survivability with her first skill, also some movements. Yeah, this Warframe is just insane. Energy economy also, if you're using Equilibrium, because her fourth skill, if you slow enemy, they're gonna have a chance to drop health orb. If you speed it up the enemy, they're gonna have a chance to drop energy orb. So if you're using Equilibrium, you have countless source of energy. That's just how good Nova is. That's just how easy and strong she is. Maybe you just have to remember much more about how skills work, but it's not really that complicated if you actually going to read her tooltip, or maybe the wiki, or maybe just ask someone who knows how to play Nova. Nova, yes, really worth it. One of the best Warframes right now. It might also be actually can be here. Yeah, I will say a little bit above Mirage, but it doesn't mean Mirage is lower than Nova. It's just simply because Nova can do more. Now let's move on to Nyx. Oh, Nyx, the mind control. The mind controller, Nyx. I remember when I was new player, I got Nyx when I was new player, and that was the time where they made some adjustment changes to her kits. Or wait, was that rework? I think that was rework, right? Yeah, when they changed her kits. She's a strong Warframe. Also her invulnerability with her fourth skill. And it's really funny, people are downplaying her invincibility, which is, yeah, we're not gonna try to talk about that. It's just gonna be an arguing arguing video, and I don't want to argue to anyone. But yeah, I'll say yeah, she's pretty good. She's pretty good. She can do much more than the other Warframes. She can protect and she can also destroy. What I mean about protect is her applying radiation to other enemies so that the enemies are just gonna focus on themselves, shooting each other, not to the objective. Also, yeah, buffing the critical chance of your weapon also. She can armor strip, she can have overguard, she can steal overguard. And like I said before, her invincibility, this Warframe is, she can be pretty good, she can be pretty strong. She's pretty good all around Warframe. Yeah, she can nuke level cap, but that's a different story. So I will say I'll be putting her here. Yeah, I'm putting her here. Pretty good, yeah, pretty good to build Nyx. Just simple, but eventually you're just gonna play other Warframes than her. But if you're gonna have a chance to get her early on, then it will be pretty good. Recommended to also build her with the rest of the Warframes here. Next one, Oberon. Oh god, the king, the return of the king, Oberon. King Oberon right now, with his current state, he can be very good. But actually, the tier where I'm going to place him right now doesn't mean that's gonna be her tier for higher level mission or for level capping, but this is just for the sake of tier list for newer players. I'm putting him here. Maybe here, yeah. I'm just putting him here. Can be actually just neutral. Yeah. Well, his passive alone, probably. That's the reason why I'm putting him here in pretty good. Mainly because of that. The pretty good. That's only because of that. But in level capping, it's a different story. He's a monster. It's a monster beyond monster. But I'll be talking about that in the future. Maybe I'll make a level cap tier in the future because I used every single Warframe in level cap, so I have an idea how to play with them there. Maybe next time. Anyway, I'm going far. Let's continue with the Oberon. Yeah, Oberon, his first skill. Oberon, his first skill, Smite. Oh god, that's the only reason why he is very strong. You might not feel his power in non-level cap missions, but that's super strong. What makes it strong is that it will fully strip down enemies' armor and overguard. Plus, in a certain amount of HP is gonna be depleted regardless of enemy's level. And if you put viral to the enemy, then you can just easily one-shot enemy. His first skill is insane. His Smite, the first skill, that's insane. Second skill, that's just mostly for CC, crowd controlling. Also, it's not just for that. If Oberon is in his second skill, he has status immunity. Also, that's also one reason why he doesn't need PSF or Prime Sure-Footed. Very nice skill. Also applying radiation consistently. That's why the arcane universal fallout. Yeah, the arcane where you're gonna have a chance to get universal orb when enemies are affected by radiation. That can be very nice. And yeah, fourth skill, they make it easier now, easier to armor strip, and they made it a little bit stronger, but still Smite is still the strongest. And yeah, his passive, he can protect. If he picked up energy orb, you will have a pseudo mesmer skin, and we're gonna talk about that mesmer skin later. But basically that's just invisibility, max stacks of 3, and you're not gonna take any damage. So that's the reason why he is here. But in a higher level mission, I can put him in a much higher tier, but I'm not gonna make it right now here. So Oberon here. Next one, let's move on. Octavia. Octavia, the DJ Warframe. Octavia, she's not a straightforward Warframe. She's strong. Also, she can buff. She can buff the teammates. If you like buffing teammates while playing music and then you're turning into invisible, yeah, Octavia. But I will say since she's not a straightforward Warframe, and then you might need more investment on her. Also, her gameplay loop, you might not like her gameplay loop. I'll say her gameplay loop isn't for everyone. I'll say I'm putting her in neutral. It can. She's strong, right? Don't get me wrong. She's very strong. I'll say she's. She might be here. Yeah, might be here. She might be here. Maybe a little bit here. Yeah, because Baruuk is here. Baruuk, you can also use him in EDA, ETA because of his toughness, mainly because of that. But since Hildryn exists, just use Hildryn. And maybe Valkyr also, but I'll talk about Valkyr later. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk much about Octavia. It's just she's not a straightforward Warframe, so I'll just put her in neutral. She's a little bit higher than these Warframes because you're not much gonna use these Warframes anyway. You're mostly gonna use these Warframes more than these Warframes here. But depends, of course. Depends on the player. There are players there where they use these Warframes more than these Warframes. Let's move on. Oraxia, one of the newest Warframes. She's also one of the strongest Warframes right now. Her toxic is crazy. Her invulnerability is unique. And her fourth seal is unique. It literally just turning her into a spider Warframe because she is the spider frame. Very strong Warframe. She has CC. She can spread toxin. She can spread corrosive. Yeah, I mean, if you use Archon Continuity, it's a mod, then you can spread toxin and corrosive. She can spawn minion, and she can buff weapon. Super strong, though the problem with her, she's anti-synergistic with melee and Incarnon weapons because she can buff Incarnon weapons. That's the sad thing about her, but it doesn't mean she's not that strong without Incarnon weapons. She can still very strong even without Incarnon weapons. But the thing about Oraxia, she's not low investment Warframe to enjoy it with fully. So I will say she's pretty good. Yeah, she's a pretty good to invest with. She's not a little bit straightforward for newer players. That's why it's here. She can be neutral. Yeah, but I'm just gonna put her here in a pretty good, mainly because of her invisibility. If the new player is gonna learn how to play with her fourth skill, which is easy to learn. Yeah. That's why I'm putting her here. Yeah, invisibility, like going to the wall. Usually she's the Warframe now that is mainly her play style is revolving around wall latching. Oraxia, she's strong. Okay, if you're saying that Citrine exists, yeah, Citrine is a different one. Oraxia is also different, and I will talk about Citrine later. Protea, yeah, Protea, she has Prime, so Protea, I'm putting the non-Prime here. Protea, I'm putting her here. Can be here. As a new player, I'll say could be here, yeah. Can be also here, actually. Can be also here. Alright, personally, I'm putting her here. Higher than Gauss. So why is it? One of the best Warframe that you could easily get right now, because she is still available in relics. She's not vaulted. Also, she is pretty cheap right now. Protea, she can shield gate. Her shield gate is fantastic. She has crowd control. Her turrets is amazing. They are strong. Her third skill can drop health orb, energy orb, and ammo. And her fourth skill, though, maybe her fourth skill it isn't so straightforward. Yeah, her fourth skill is not straightforward. But with those three alone, with those three skills alone, 1, 2, 3 skills, except the fourth one, she's a very good new player Warframe. Also, fashion of Protea is amazing, and yeah, she's pretty easy to use. You just have to learn how to spam skill. Yeah, and also maintaining the duration of her skills, especially her third skill. Yeah, one of the best right now. Protea, nothing much to say about her. It's just highly recommended Warframe for newer player. Even though you might needed to put more forma on her, but I remember I wasn't putting much forma on her and I can use her very well. But of course, if you wanted to make her much better, you needed to put more investment on her. But yeah, she's a very fantastic Warframe for newer players. Go get her. Highly recommended. Next one, Corvex. Oh, Corvex. The radiation, literally the nuclear frame, nuclear reactor frame, the radiation frame. He has crowd control. He has armor strip, kinda. If you use his augment, he has status immunity. Oh yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Fourth skill, he's basically a freaking beam. Yeah, a walking beam if you're using his augment. He might sound fun, right? He might sound fun, but his fourth skill can be a little bit weird. It feels weak when you're using it in a wrong way. It might sound how fun he is in paper, but when you're using him, he's kind of feeling underwhelming. It's because he's not a straightforward Warframe. That's the reason. But I believe that he might need some buff in the future because of that. He can be strong, but are you expecting players to invest more in a Warframe like that it feels weird to play with? Of course, they're just gonna go with whoever Warframes that are easier to use and feeling much stronger to use. There's a problem with Corvex. It's not as straightforward. There are some hidden mechanics on him that you needed to learn how to make his skill strong. So right now, I will say I'm putting him in here. Yeah. I like Corvex. But he's a special case. I'm putting him here. It could be here also. If you are interested with his subsume skill. Or if you really like him, if you are interested with him, it can be neutral, yeah. But I don't see myself playing him that much these days. Yeah, I gotta play him again more in the future. Before his prime. I can't wait for his prime. I wonder what will be his prime's gonna look like. Because I'll be honest with you, I like Corvex design. It looks peak. But yeah, I'm putting him here. In the special category. Revenant. Oh, Revenant. Alright. This is what we're waiting for. Or are you waiting for Revenant? Yeah. First of all, let's put the regular one here because we have Prime. Have you heard people telling you to use Revenant? Because he is so good. He is immortal. Yes, he is. He is immortal. But because of that, he is definitely in a top spot for one of the most brain-dead Warframe in the game right now. He can make literally almost everything in easy mode. Because you are invincible. Literally, his Mesmer skin. It's one of the most broken skin in the game right now. And nerfing it will be controversial. Heck, even right now, he's still controversial. It's just, I guess the older players, they're just not thinking about that very much. But I wanted to say my honest opinion about Revenant. Revenant, his existence, it's not bad. It's not a bad existence, yeah. So I'll be putting him in yes, yeah. I will say yes, Revenant. I'm putting maybe here above Necros, yeah, above Nec. So why? All right. Oh wait, the Revenant haters, they are now getting mad at me. They're just getting excited to type. No, Release Revenant, blah, blah, blah. Listen to me. Not all people has 8 hours of time to play the game. There are people that they just wanted to open the game, boot up the game, and do point and click. Just aim and shoot. The thing about Revenant, you don't need to think about how are you going to build this Warframe. Just go put ability strength and that's it. Yeah, literally just ability strength and then that's it. That's just how brain dead this Warframe. But the thing is, not everyone just wanted to spend more brain power, brain capacity to think of what kind of build, what kind of weapon am I going to use. They just love opening Warframe and just playing the game. That's it. Also, he can be a savior in EDA if you have a bad role in that week. If you have bad modifiers, bad loadouts in that week, he can be a savior. But if you still hate him despite that, then maybe just go play with others. Just go make a pre-made party before doing those kinds of missions. If you dislike having him in a pub, that's great. Yeah, that's it. Revenant is for people that they just wanted to chill in the game. He's not for a sweaty player like you, like me, like the others. That's why I'm putting him here, Revenant. I recognize his flaw, but I also recognize his pros. So his pros and cons, they are there. I can understand, but I can also understand that he can be useful to newer players. Because if you're saying that Revenant is gonna be bad for newer players, it's up to new players if they just wanted to stick with Revenant or no. It's because we have a bunch of Warframes to pick here. It's up to them if they wanted to get out of Revenant hellhole or they just wanted to stay with that. It's up to them. It's not our job to tell them to stop using Revenant. Alright? Anyway, this is getting longer. So Revenant, this is gonna be here. I might have forgot more things to say about him, but I think that's all that I want to say about this Warframe. Revenant. I'm putting him here in yes. Let's move on. Rhino. Oh, Rhino. Rhino, the regular Rhino. If you're a new player, you could easily get him now. You could easily get him. One of the best starting Warframe outside of those three. You could easily get him. I will say yes. Yeah, above Nopo. But all you have to do is just to put potato on him and then that's it. Rhino, this Warframe is simple yet destructive. All he has to do is to make himself hard to kill. He's very good at making himself hard hitter to the enemy. Rhino. Yeah, Rhino, I will say yes. Rhino Prime, of course. Rhino Prime also. Rhino Prime. He's still in a yes. I will say above Mirage. Yeah, above Mirage. Rhino is just simple, yet destructive. He's very good at making himself hard. Alright. Hard to kill and hard hitter. Remember that. Rhino. Nothing much to say about this Warframe. Sarin. Yeah, regular. I'll just put the regular here. Sarin Prime. One of the best gun platform Warframe. One of the best gun frame, gun buffing, or not just gun, also as a melee because of her Toxic Lash. Toxic Lash is better with melee. It's in the description. Yes, Sarin, very strong. She's just like in the league with Mirage, Rhino. Yeah. Sarin. But you know what? When it comes to Mirage, probably putting her here because of the way her toxin works, and then she can apply corrosive to your gun. She can make more weapons much stronger, I will say, because of her toxic, her status DOT game is just very strong. Citrine is just very strong Warframe. It's a new player. Also, she's pretty straightforward. Yeah, she's pretty straightforward to use. Maybe not the spore, but that's just a minor one. But all you have to do also is just buff and buff. But aside to Chroma though, I just find her much more fun to play with. Yeah, Citrine. Or maybe I'm just a little bit biased here. That's why I'm putting her here in a yes. Also, you don't need to put too much formas on her to make her viable. And she can be here. She is a strong one. So pretty good for newer player. Alright, now next one, Savagoth. Savagoth, we have the Prime. Regular, I'm just putting Savagoth Prime. I will say he's gonna be yes. Mainly because of his drip. He can nuke, literally, he can nuke the entire room. And then he can summon his shadow, his stand. He's a JoJo reference Warframe. And his drip alone, yeah, I will say just yes. But yeah, he can be strong. He can debuff enemy. He can make enemy more susceptible to more damage and critical chance. Can be a pretty good pseudo gun platform Savagoth. And like I said, he can nuke. Though his shadow can be feeling a little bit clunky or different on his Warframe playstyle. I'll say yes, Savagoth. Savagoth is worth. Also, I'm a little bit biased here because Savagoth, I like Savagoth. He's one of my first favorite Warframes. That's why I'm putting him here. Also, he's easy to get. So I will say Savagoth. I'll be putting him here. The problem with Savagoth is that you might need to put more resource on him to make him much better. You needed his to augment, putting formas. But is it worth it? Yes, it is. It is worth it. That's why I'm putting him here. He can be pretty good. I will put him here. Yeah, I think I'm putting him here in pretty good, though it's in the highest spot. I don't have to put him necessarily on the highest tier. Just here in a pretty good. I'm putting him here. Let's move on. Stalker, who are you? Stynax. The speculation of the community, most likely, even though there's still no confirmation, not even a tease as of the day that I started recording this. I'm betting my left balls that he's gonna be the next Prime. So I'm putting him here because Prime is near. I'm putting him here. I stopped putting forma on my Stynax. I wanted to forma him because I got a new build for him, and then I just realized that his Prime is coming. For now, I'm just holding my resource for Stynax. I'm waiting for the Prime. Hopefully, he's gonna be the next one, and I'm really excited. Yeah, for now, Stynax, I'm putting him here. Prime is near. It might change. If he's not gonna be the next Prime, I'll be putting him here in neutral. But like I said, I'm confident he's gonna be the next Prime. That's why he's gonna be here. Prime is near. That's the only reason. But if his Prime is out, I'm putting him in pretty good. Even yes. And I have some explanation why. Even yes. Not just pretty good. Can be yes. But right now, since we still don't have Prime, we're gonna put him here in no subsume and Prime is near category. Okay, let's move on. Temple. Oh god, Temple. Do you like music? Do you like guitar? Do you like practicing with metronome? And you like hit? Yeah, basically a guitar that shoots flame. Good. Yes, hell yes, this one. This Warframe. He might not be a straightforward Warframe, but is he fun? The more you learn about him, hell yeah, he is. So I'll say he's pretty good. He is pretty good. He might be higher than Jade. Yeah. He might be higher than Jade. I'll be putting him. He's pretty good. His exalted weapon is very strong. It is very strong. Maybe the only problem that you're gonna get on him is the energy economy. Also, the way he play him, he might be a little bit tiring. So I think I'm putting him here. Yeah, he's gonna be here. Yeah, I'll be putting him here. Or it can be neutral also. If I'm putting him in neutral, it can be here. But I'm biased actually. I'm telling you to build him pretty good. But for now, the more I remember, I analyze the way you use him. He's getting lower and lower. All right, pretty neutral. But he can't be higher than Prime. So he will be higher than this. Yeah, this too. Yep. Temple, very good. I just ran out of forma though. I wanted to put more forma on him, but I have no forma today. I gotta wait for my forma to be crafted. Let's move on. Titania. Well, I'm just laughing because I did something about Titania, but I'm not gonna tell you about it. Alright, let's move on. Titania. Yeah, we have the Prime. This one, I'll be putting the regular here. Titania. The Murder Bell. One of the fastest Warframes in the game. Or she could be the fastest Warframe in the game, arguably. Yeah, for capturing, for rescue, or even spy, she's actually pretty good. I remember I used her a lot for spy missions. Yeah, Titania also can be very strong. If you just wanted to rush missions, she's one of your best pick. Yeah, I will say Titania. She can be here. Yeah, yes. She can be here. Or maybe even above Harrow. Yeah, Titania. She was one of my early primes. And I can guarantee you, even though you don't put any forma on her, she can work perfectly fine. I know my Titania Prime still don't have forma, and you can just build her in a way that you can just wreck even level cap enemies, and you can use her perfectly fine. You just have to be smart what kind of mods you're going to put on her. Yes, Titania here. Really one of the best to use right now. I will say even above Lavos. Yeah. She can be also a decent defense Warframe because of her Razor Flies. Because the Razor Flies has a very good threat level now. And they turned them into immortal. Also her third skill also is pretty good for defense. Can attract enemies. Alright, so yeah, Titania here. Pretty good Warframe. Pretty good to very good Warframe to use. One of the most used Warframes also. One of the most popular for speed farming. Let's move on. Trinity. Yeah, regular gonna be here. Trinity definitely one of the best support in the game. But the problem is other Warframes are very good at supporting themselves. That her support skill are no longer necessary. And that's what happened to this Warframe with the current state of the game. Her support game is fantastic. It's just the other Warframes don't need it. That's what happened to her. Her kits, it doesn't need rework. They already made some adjustment with her kits. It's just other Warframes don't need support anymore. Or if they wanted support, they wanted more power, more firepower. Not just regenerating their shield, more energy. That's why she's just gonna be in neutral. I'll say here, yeah. A little bit above than Ember. Yeah, Trinity, though Trinity has armor strip, but the thing is it's an augment, so it's kind of a waste of slot on your build. I really dislike when an augment feels like a waste of slot. Should have been part of her kit. I'll say here, yeah. I'll be putting her here. Because Ember, she can armor strip, even though you need to tap it twice. At least she doesn't need augment. Next one, Uriel, the demon frame. Literally, almost every new streamers, when I'm visiting streamers here in YouTube, I see people playing this, and what are they always saying about this Warframe? He's sick, he's cool, he's fantastic, he's wonderful. Just a very positive. This Warframe, they really cook with this Warframe, so I agree with them. Highly recommended. I'll be putting him here. Definitely on top of this non-primes Warframe, I'm putting Uriel here. He's a very fantastic, one of the best all-around Warframes right now. As a gun frame, shield gating, survivability, AoE, minions. Oh, this Warframe is crazy. Very strong Warframe, also very cool. One of the best looking and best Warframe to use. And also the movement, of course. His movement, if you use his one and then you roll mid-air, that's just crazy. Pretty fun to use. Uriel, and one of the strongest also right now. Let's move on. Valkyr. Oh, Valkyr. I will say I'll be putting her here. She's like Hildryn for ETA, EDA. If you have bad loadouts in that way, it's either you could use Hildryn or Valkyr. They're pretty much immortal in those missions. Especially right now with the health tanking arcanes, it does exist now. For Valkyr, oh, she's gonna be freaking immortal. Also, her exalted weapon is very strong. One of the strongest Warframes right now. Valkyr. She's pretty much immortal as long as you're actively playing the game. Nothing much to say here. It's just if you have a chance to get her, go build her. You're not gonna regret building her. Very strong Warframe. Very good Warframe. Also for EDA, ETA also. I see these two a lot in ETA and EDA, and I can understand why. Especially Hildryn. But yeah, Valkyr, very good. Let's move on. Vauban. Oh, the old man Vauban. Definitely one of the strongest Warframes right now. They fix most of his problems. Not everything. He still has some problems. His problems mainly for tile. If you got a very good tile, he's not that bad. But if you got pretty bad tile for his kits, he can be annoying or disruptive to use. But despite that, he's definitely one of the best Warframes right now. He's super strong. He's one of the strongest skill casting frames right now. One of the strongest crowd control Warframes right now. Vauban. They really cook with this retouch. Though it was an accidental rework. Just admit it, Papa Pablo. Yeah, let's just admit it. It was an accidental rework. They made him much easier to use, especially with his second skill. A very good QOL. They combined two skills at one pressing. One is hold and one is tap. Very nice, very good. I'm not gonna talk much about him. It's just that's just how good he is. I'm putting him here because he can do more than what Gauss can do, I will say, for many contents. That's why I'm putting him here. He's below Protea because Protea doesn't need to have high investment to be very good, but Vauban, you might needed more investment to make him very good to play. But still, despite that, very good. One of the best Warframes right now to use. But I think mainly because that you needed to put more stuffs on here, he's gonna be a little bit lower. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit lower because you need to put more. But if I'm gonna be really biased, I'll be putting him here. But yeah, because of that, you needed those high-end mods to make him feel much better to play, especially you're throwing your skill left and right. Yeah, that's mainly because of that. You might run out of skill. You might have some energy economy. So I'm putting him here. Still, he's still worth it to build right now after his accidental rework. Next one, Volt. Oh, Volt. Volt is one of the starting Warframes. And I will say this is the same as Excalibur and Mag. But I'll be putting Volt here more than Mag. Excalibur is only here, let's just say it's mainly because we can't get Excalibur Prime. That's the reason. For Volt, yes, mainly just one potato. Same thing, just one potato. Same with Rhino. I'm putting him below here because I personally think Rhino is much better when it comes to survivability. That's why he is here. And Volt is here. But it doesn't mean Volt is that bad. Nope. It's not really. It's just you could get his Prime also. So his Prime, of course, definitely. One of the best Warframes right now as a new player. I really don't know where to put, maybe here. Yeah, I think I'm putting Volt here. No, I will say here, mainly because of his speed. For defense, mainly it will depend on what type of weapon you are using. That's why I'm not putting him above Nova, because Nova, when it comes to defense, or if there's an objective that you needed to defend, I think Nova is still better. That's why Volt is here. Yeah, Volt can be a good gun buffer, can be a good, yeah, just a very good all-around Warframe. It's a very good all-around Warframe. I'm putting him here. Volt. Next one, Voruna. Oh, Voruna. Yeah, most likely this year she's gonna have a Prime. That's also my bet. I'm betting my right balls. If I'm betting my left balls to Stynax, I'm betting my right balls for Voruna. She's gonna have a Prime this year. And it could be close. She might not be the next Prime. If she's not gonna be the next Prime, I will say that you can still build her. Maybe here. Yeah, here. In the special category. This is where I'm putting her. But if we're talking about in general, I will say just neutral. She's gonna be in the lowest here, in the neutral, because her Prime is pretty close. But if you really like her, then here. But she can also be here also, alright? She can be in these three categories. Depends on you. But personally, if you're gonna ask me, here. She's gonna be in special category. It's mainly because her Primes is close. But if we are talking in 2024 or 25, I will say that. Yeah, neutral. Somewhere in neutral. I will say somewhere in neutral. But right now, she's gonna be here in special category. Next, let's move on. Wisp, the butt frame. One of the strongest, one of the best Warframes right now. Definitely, she can support, she can nuke. I'm putting her. Yeah, I can't decide if she is more than Protea or she's gonna be less than Protea. I think yeah, she's gonna be here mainly because of her, or mainly because of Protea's third skill. Dispensary. Yeah, her third skill. But if she doesn't have that, I'm definitely putting her here. Yeah, she can crowd control, she can support, she can buff, she can nuke, she has invisibility. Oh yeah, a very good all-around Warframe. Also butt. So I'm putting her here. Highly recommended. She's very strong. I really love her playstyle. But that's also the reason why I don't use her as much as I wanted to, just like Gauss. It's just how good this do. At least for me. For my taste in gameplay and butt. Alright, let's move on. Monkey Prime. Wukong. Yeah, Wukong is also one of the starting Warframe, and many people is gonna bugging you that, hey, you should try Wukong. He's one of the best starting Warframe. They're not wrong. It is. But the problem is, the more people say that they should use specific thing, people is gonna stay away from those because they know that how too popular it is, or maybe how too broken, how too simple. And you know what? It's actually counterintuitive. If you wanted someone to try something, don't tell them to try something. Yeah, that's actually the tip. And I remember there are people telling me to use Wukong, one of the starting frame. But since we can get the Prime, I will say, I mean, you can just put potato on one. I mean, you can put one potato to the regular Wukong. It can be, if you cannot wait for the Prime, it can be. But for me, I will say just go throw it in, just throw it in helmet, just subsume it. Just go play other Warframes. But Monkey Prime, on the other hand, this is definitely one of the strongest, one of the best Warframe right now. I'm not joking. It might sound weird, it might sound normie, but that's the reality. That's the reality of this monkey, especially with the spy. Remember when I was saying about the spy? He's the king of spy mission. With just that alone, and then if you subsume the perspicacity, he can be in a very good spot. No joking, no joke. Spy missions. And Monkey Prime, he's the best. You might hear people saying, yeah, Ivara is the best in spy missions. She can go through the laser. Yes, she can. Monkey Prime can do that. Oh, Titania is quick. She can go in a different rooms pretty quickly. He might not be that quick, but he's still quick. Quicker than many Warframes. Firepower, yeah. Just go use a strong melee. He can just go bonk. As a gun platform monkey, that's also fine. You can just go with the Planet of the Apes build. But majority of the people, most likely the Wukong enjoyer gonna tell you to go Magister or slamming build. But if others are telling you to use different melee, they're different breed. All right, they're different breed, and I don't know which planet they came from. That's rare. Yeah, Wukong, one of the best right now. He's a strong. Also, his exalted weapon is actually pretty strong. Yeah, pretty strong. But mainly, I just put him here mainly because of spy missions. He's just gonna make your spy missions super easy. Yeah, and especially if you use the helmet subsume skill, the perspicacity, your life is gonna be super easy. Rescue is also a very good rescue Warframe. So I'm putting him here. Well, other Warframe, like I said, they can also do spy, but I find Wukong the best amongst those Warframes. Yep, I'm putting him here. Next one, Zaku Prime, the Skeleton Prime. All right, Skeleton Prime. He's not a beginner friendly Warframe. You might need to put more investment on Zaku to make Zaku feel much better, to feel much strong. Also, if you're in lower level, you might feel the turrets doesn't feel that strong. It's because it scales with enemies level, and you might need very high ability range, around 265 to 280, depends on your build. I used to build Zaku with 280, which is the max range that you could put to your Warframe. But I stayed away from that. I just reduced 15% and I put PSF, because without PSF it can be annoying to play with. I would say just neutral. It's mainly because it's not because of Zaku's firepower. Also, Zaku might not be that straightforward to other players, especially with the existence of Sata's Whisper. And if you're telling me that, yeah, just go subsume it, yeah, just go say it to new players that still don't have helmet. And then his third skill, you might needed to learn much about how it works, and you needed those prime mods to make Zaku feels much better to use. That's why I'm just gonna put him in, or I'm just gonna put Zaku here in neutral, because most likely if you're a new player, you still don't have much mods to make Zaku feel much better. Zaku will still be useful, it's just you're not gonna feel the full potential of this Warframe. Yeah, also weapon dependent, another one thing about this Warframe. And yeah, like I said, the Sata's Whisper can be weird to play with if you don't know what's going on with that skill. So just neutral. I will say just here. Yeah, I guess here. Yeah. Top of the neutral. All right, let's move on a little bit more. Yareli. Ooh, Yareli, the magical girl frame. Magical girl frame. She's one of my favorite Warframes. One of the strongest and one of the toughest Warframes because of the existence of Merolina, and one of the most fun when it comes to movement, or also one of the most frustrating Warframe to use because of that. But I will say, after playing Yareli a lot, her movement with Merolina is not a very straightforward. Before, I thought it was clunky, but right now I feel that it has high skilling. Yeah, I just love playing Yareli while she's riding with Merolina, because I think that's her identity, and I don't want to strip that on her. I'm just a sentimental player. So with that said, yeah, she's a very strong gun Warframe. She can also debuff enemy. Oh, I heard people saying that she's bad with high ability strength. It was funny. The damage vulnerability is actually pretty good in higher level. So for that, I will put Yareli. It's gonna be a little bit biased, all right? We're gonna be a little bit biased. I'm putting her here. No, she's a child. Oh god, she's a child. Don't do that. I'll say here. Yeah, she's here. Definitely one of the most fun, also one of the cutest, one of the most beautiful Warframes to exist right now. Yareli Prime. I'm so happy, I'm so hyped when I saw Yareli Prime, especially the Yareli Prime trailer song. Yeah, that's a cool one. You should watch it if you haven't. Let's move on to the last Warframe, Zephyr. Along with Volt, Neja, Banshee, Wukong, you could get Zephyr through Clan Dojo. And for this one, I personally will tell you just to subsume it, the regular one. But if you really like, then okay, you can, all right, you can. Just one potato, that's just enough. But personally, just wait for the Prime. If you can get Prime on the market, great. Zephyr Prime. She's one of the strongest Warframe that many people are not using. And I understand why. She's not a straightforward Warframe. That's why. She's not a straightforward Warframe. So if you're a new player and you're playing her, you might feel that this Warframe is weird to play with, especially with her passive. You might dislike it, though you can disable it. There is an augment to disable it, but overall she's not a straightforward. She's very strong. She can be very strong, but she's not straightforward. So I will say she's just gonna be in neutral. Even though she's very strong, she's probably around here. Yeah, I'll just put her in neutral. I wanted to put her in pretty good, but like I said, she's not straightforward, and you might need to put more formas on her. Also, she's weapon dependent. If you wanted to see her broken ass damage. Well, you can use precision gun on her, but the splash AoE damage actually feels much better on her. It's much more satisfying to use. But despite that, she's just gonna be here in the neutral. Oh wait, anyway, before you end the video, I have something more for you. Here.